All right. Hello and welcome, everyone. So, today we are going to talk about the Nightwave Any percent, and as you can probably tell from the title of this video, why the Nightwave Any percent failed and we were not able to complete the Nightwave within our first 2 weeks on a fresh account. Because we've done a lot on this account. A lot. And there is a very unfortunate reason why we were not able to complete the Nightwave, because within the capabilities of this account, with some assistance from people that have a railjack and stuff, so we could have access to those things, we were very on track to complete this with a lot of time to spare. But if we go in and look at where we are on the Nightwave, you will see that we are at rank 24 out of the 30 that was our goal. And we got here without doing any of the investigations, and the investigations are obviously very doable and represent 3.5 levels. So, for all intents and purposes, we were at basically 28, and we only had 20k points of difference, essentially, on getting to 30 if we were going to do these investigations. Now, the problem comes in where, as you can see, we don't have any weeklies recovered right now. We have a couple of dailies that were built up, but we are at rank 24 with no weeklies down here to do. So we did a ton of progress in one sitting as of the new week reset, because we broke down a ton of barriers. We did Profit Taker, we did a Lich, we had a sortie block that was completed on Monday. We were cranking through this thing at an alarming pace. We got hitched up in the early parts of the Nightwave up until about rank 9 or 10-ish, and then in one day we went from 10 all the way up to 24 and a half, and were unfortunately stopped by the Nightwave not recovering any more weekly challenges. It literally just won't give us the points, and obviously, with this Nightwave being 9 months of weeklies, there are obviously challenges that should be able to be recovered. So, due to it bugging out, we can't make it to 30, because honestly, on January 19th is when all this progress was made up to 24, and then I haven't played since, because we can't make any progress. There's no reason to continue. So it's the 23rd now, and the Nightwave ends in a day and 5 hours, and it's real unfortunate that we didn't get a patch or something for this, because obviously I know that DE knows about this bug, but it's really unfortunate that we weren't able to complete the Nightwave because of it, because I think within our capabilities we were well on track to complete this Nightwave. That being said, I do want to talk about what was accomplished in this Nightwave and the challenges with this Nightwave and the ways we had to work around certain problems. So, things accomplished in this Nightwave, if we look under, we were under quests already. We look under quests, we have Heart of Deimos ready to get started. Deadlock Protocol is almost completed. We didn't do the last phase of it. And then we have Vor's Prize done, Vox Solaris done, Stolen Dreams, the Arcwing Quest, Once Awake, New Strange, Nata, Second Dream, and War Within all completed. So, we made our way through the vast majority of the story stuff and through all the story stuff that we were going to need for the Nightwave, with the possible exception of needing the personal quarters to do the sacrifice so we could have access to the Ropalo list. In addition to that stuff, we were able to fight Profit Taker, and I really want to talk about how we were able to fight Profit Taker, because I've talked about many times that in order to kill Profit Taker, you need to be rank 5 on the Solaris main level up progression, and that's a lot of dailies. In fact, from a fresh account, it takes you an absolute minimum of about 19 days if you do it perfectly, in order to even get to rank 5. And because we only had 13 days, it should be impossible to do Profit Taker. And as you can see, we are only at rank 1 and some change with the Solaris. So, how were we able to do this? Well, there is a workaround for those of you that would like to do Profit Taker and have a friend that has access to it. The workaround is that they come in here, and they talk to them because they have access to the briefing stuff. Obviously, I do not. And there are the 4 missions that you need to do leading up to Profit Taker. So what you do is they accept the mission and enter the Valis, and then you join on them via them being in friends only mode. And then from your friends list, they're on right now, Infinite helped me out with this very much. Big thanks to Infinite for this. It was extremely helpful. And also Hopley, who we were with for the majority of all of our Railjack stuff. Also big thanks to Hopley for bringing us on Railjack things, so we did not have to go and build our own Railjack, as I think most people are going to get help with their Railjack stuff anyway, or just join random parties until they're able to complete things. So we would then have Infinite on our friends list. We're on Infinite's friends list. They are on friends only up in the bounty stage, the first bounty. And then what you do is you actually use the chat command /join and then the username of your friend, and it will put you in the mission without checking to see if you have rank 5 in that syndicate out there and can actually do these missions. So you do that for the first mission, then you head back to Fortuna. You do that for the second mission, and then you head back to Fortuna. On the third mission, you do that one until it rewards you with a Gravamag. When it rewards you with the Gravamag in your inbox, if we have it here, I believe we do. Oh, here we go. Ortis sends it to you. If you do that properly and you get the Gravamag, it will give you the Arc Gun Deployer. So if you have the Arc Gun Deployer, you meet the secondary requirement to join into a Profit Taker mission, because all you need is an Arc Gun equipped and the Arc Gun Deployer in your gear wheel in order to meet those requirements. And because you are getting past the initial requirements of that rank 5 Fortuna, you can then use this to get into a Profit Taker mission and help take down Profit Taker as much as you are able. It is worth noting that on an account this new, that is very, very much a carry, because just getting the gear together for a Profit Taker, you really do need a squad for it. Obviously, it's not soloable because you do need a friend, but it is possible to do Profit Taker even if you're at rank 0 in Fortuna. It just requires a good chunk of work. So we did that stuff, and that was interesting to find out about. Thank you to the people in chat that knew about this workaround so that we could get that stuff done. Obviously, we killed a Lich, and killing a Lich was not really a big deal. It helped that we killed the Lich on the first try, because we just did all the murmur farming, and then we happened to get the right sequence on the first go. But our primary weapon during this playthrough is actually the Zorus. For the vast majority of this playthrough, we used the Mark 1 bow, and the Mark 1 bow is sweet. And I'm not actually kidding about that at all. Through the majority of things, this build was all that we used, except for Northwind at rank 10 was in here. And that was kind of the build. Like Clashing Forest, Pressure Point, a couple elementals, Reach and Fury, and we were pretty well set up, no Catalyst. That can very easily do a lot of missions, and it worked out really, really well for us, leading up to the Deadlock Protocol, where we get access to the Zorus. So it might be kind of weird that I'm talking about the Zorus here, but I think the Zorus is the single best mid-game weapon for, like, MR4 plus players. It's extremely, extremely accessible because it comes from the Deadlock Protocol. It builds really, really fast. You can have it day of that you can start the Deadlock Protocol, and this build is super cheap. If you've got a Catalyst in this, it doesn't need Forma. It needs like basically nothing. Like we have this modded weird right now because we were doing a magnetic challenge, but legitimately you just pop this in here and then change the elementals around a little bit. Yeah, this is right. Change this around to viral. This is what we were on for the most part, and then this build, it works great. If you have volatile quick return, that's much better. Obviously, that comes from Deimos and is very easy to acquire from there. But it's super solid. This build can deal a lot of damage. Is it going to be as good as like a Glaive Prime or anything? No. But the Zorus, with its enhanced blast radius on heavy attacks and stuff, building like a raw heavy attack build is absolutely viable, and it's kind of the most amount of damage you're going to be able to do at the soonest possible time in the game, because none of these mods are a real barrier to entry. You're going to be farming corrupt mods anyway for what you need for your Warframe build, and Corrupt Charge is easy to trade for if you're just doing one-for-one trades with like other corrupt mods that you might happen to get that are worth the same amount, because corrupt charge runs about 10 platinum. You can very easily make a trade for that. There's a ton of easy ways to acquire these mods. Like, this is mostly commons, uncommons, with this one rare that has a guaranteed drop location. Or, well, rather, a very heavily farmable, better than a lot of other rares farm location. And as for the stance mod, Astral Twilight, the moment you're done with the War Within, you get access to Kuva farming. The Kuva Siphon farms, you're gonna have a copy of Astral Twilight. Like, we have 3. We have 3 copies of Astral Twilight. It is not hard to get. So, this build, hyper accessibility, fantastic for new players. It honestly, like, makes me happy that the Zorus is actually a meaningful, useful weapon for people. Now that, of course, it's nerfed for use as a stat stick with a bunch of the Warframes, but it on its own can do what you need it to do. And also of note, because it does still have the infinite combo duration, if you were to go and like put a little bit of forma in this and go for a Blood Rush build and just use Astral Twilight that way, it can do that too and still be really good. You can really do a lot with this weapon, which I think is great. It's super versatile. The only real problem factor with if you're going to go with a Blood Rush build on this is that you would then want Primed Reach, and Primed Reach is obviously a really big investment for a new player, because 40k endo is a lot. As for our actual Warframe build, this is what we ended up on. I will say one of the big notes I had from the early game of Warframe in general, and this is kind of a repeat of, you know, things I've said in the past a lot of times. The energy economy early on in Warframe is absolutely fucking abysmal, and God, it should be better, because playing Warframe before you get corrupted mods, you're not even really like a class. You're not really using abilities. You kind of just have a melee weapon, and like you can hit man with stick, but it's really not Warframe in a big way. Energy Siphon, thankfully we got this from the Nightwave, was able to help out a little bit with that. And then we have, of course, Fleeting Expertise and Streamline, max efficiency, just so we're able to hit 2 every time that we need to. And then, of course, a little bit of power strength here, a little bit of duration for both our 3, our 2, and just, you know, the whole thing there. And then we still have a fine enough amount of range for our 4. Like, it still hits almost 20 meters AoE, so it's a stun whenever we absolutely need it. Then we have Thieves' Wit for picking up more resources and things. Also, another thing that we did, we went and did Eidolons. We got an Arcane Avenger, so that was nice. Eidolons, obviously, hugely needed to be carried on that. But I think, I kind of surmised for the Nightwave any percent here, is that I am of the belief that most people, especially if you're even kind of new, or even if you're kind of casual at the Nightwave, if you want to do a Tridolon, you're probably getting carried by a much more experienced friend, especially now that Tridolons are basically only a Nightwave thing, given the recent, you know, Scarlet Spear and the Orphix Venom events. The value of those arcanes is just so much lower than it used to be, and you're better off doing a lot of other things if you don't just need to complete the content to get through your Nightwave. And I would say for a regular player, like, instead of 2 weeks, if you had even a month to do this, which would avoid some bugs because of your weekly resets, you'd be better off just absolutely never doing any of the Terrorist missions, or at least not the Hydralist mission, and just doing a Terrorist one, because doing a Terrorist is totally, like, super easy compared to trying to chunk through the shields of the Hydralist with beginner amps and nonsense like that. So I don't think it's that outside of the range to receive help with the Hydralist or anything like that. But yeah, we were running that most of the time. We have the Vectis here. The Vectis is what I went with both for sniper-only sorties and also just as, like, a very solid primary. And this, with backup from Roar being able to be used, was really nice for just, you know, getting through Sargus Ruck and, like, a bunch of things that just needed a weak point. You know, knocks here and there, stuff like that, where a melee weapon's not going to be quite as good as you probably want it. And obviously here, we did end up putting a Catalyst in this. And the major thing I do want to note about putting catalysts and reactors and things is that we really had no trouble. And the the absolute thing that made it no trouble is the Nightwave. You can see we have 155 crystal credits still, and if we look at what the like reactors and catalyst costs, I have an extra reactor on me that's also from the Nightwave, and I have enough credits for 2 extra catalysts. So the Nightwave really gave me the capability to kind of just put catalysts in the things I needed to put catalysts in. Like, we needed as a requirement for Profit Taker, if we look here, we have a catalyst in our Imperator, and we literally only have 2 mods for it. The only reason we have a catalyst in this is because that's a requirement in order to put a Gravamag on it to go to Profit Taker. We just had that as an extra, as a thing that I wouldn't even normally advise people do, because if we weren't under such an extreme time crunch trying to get to 30 on this account, the advice would always be to go and farm a Necromech and get the Mausolon, and then use, obviously, a catalyst on that, because the Mausolon is, you know, the cream of the crop in terms of ease to get, and also just how good that weapon is in terms of arc guns and ground-based heavy weaponry. So, I mean, we did a lot. In terms of our MR, I was actually very, very surprised. We got to MR 6.5 or so, and MR6 is really all you need in order to really start getting into the meat of things and kind of have access to everything you want to have access to, with the exception, of course, to getting to like MR8 and acquiring the helmet system and all that stuff. But those are things that can kind of just come with time and aren't important to completing any like really major objectives and things. So we came out with that, and then it was just a pretty chill time. And the reason for the master rank being so simple, even though we've mastered so few things, is that if you just do a little bit of railjack, this is an absolute ton of mastery. We needed to get to rank 5 on gunnery in order to use the big cannon to complete one of our missions. And like, I mean, we're at 4.353. That's really not bad at all. And we have enough points in the tank to get, you know, 4.454. And that's another 3,000 mastery whenever you do that. These first couple of ranks, it's a lot of mastery, because if you do one level in each of these is going to be 6,000 mastery. So if you are at 4 in all of these, that is 24,000 mastery. That, like, because it's, you know, 1,500, 3,000 per each level. Each one of these levels is 1,500. I guess I'll explain it that way. So just in this tree, we have 6,000, and then this is 4,500, and it just adds up very, very fast. It's actually much faster to, at least up until level 5, I would probably say, just get some intrinsics if you really need mastery, because as long as you have someone that you can, like, pal around with and do a little bit of railjack with, you just get tons and tons of mastery. So early on, that really helped us out with, like, kind of not having to worry about meaninglessly leveling garbage weapons. And that's, of course, to benefit as well. Speaking of weaponry and stuff, I also did not have any issues, like, just picking up new weapons and things. And the main reason for that is because of the Nightwave. Like, we have a good chunk of slots here. We got Broken Scepter and Broken War filling out their free slots. We just have, like, you know, a Gurkata, Mark 1 bow. We have, like, an open slot still. We have, like, the Dubba Stubbas that we got. We just had slots for things. Like, we could get rid of the Mark 1 Paris, the Mark 1 Kunai, the Oklatos. Like, we have open slots for things, and that's a really, really nice feeling. In terms of Warframe slots, we have, you know, Rhino and Excalibur here still. I think we actually should have an empty slot, though, because I think we got another one from the Nightwave. Oh, no, that's up here at 27. Sorry, I misremembered that. That was just one that I noted in there. So yeah, if we weren't bugged out, we'd have a free one on top from the Nightwave for, like, expansion into another Warframe or whatever without having to farm any platinum. Like, it's nice. And we wasted a really large amount of platinum in this playthrough just trying to do things quickly. For anyone that doesn't know, we spent 50 platinum to rush Rhino, just so we'd have access to Rhino, get him a corrupted build, get him reactored out, and, like, get all this stuff up to speed super, super fast. And that 50 platinum, I mean, that's a Warframe slot, and then also 4 weapon slots. That's, like, a pretty meaningful amount of stuff wasted there. And then just in terms of things that we traded for, because we sold kind of a little chunk of corrupted mods. Some of the corrupted mods that we were selling Like, we were selling them for the purpose of, like, doing things faster, which was, like, rushing weapons just to get through junctions, just to, like, slam on the war within and just get through all these things that we really didn't need to do if we were just a little bit more patient, or had even one more week of time. We could have just really chilled out on it. But yeah, that's pretty much kind of what happened to the Nightwave Any percent. It is very sadly a failure, but I think the stuff that I got out of this in terms of information about how the new player experience is, the big takeaways for me on this are that the Nightwave, as it stands and as a system, is so good. And I wish so much that these things weren't in 9-month increments and that we could just have, you know, 3 or 4 months of a Nightwave, have like a nice track of rewards, and like just have another Nightwave come around and just be a thing that people want to take part in, and a reason to do all these weekly challenges and things, and have people come back more often, because I think it is just a really great system. And I especially think it's an even better system for new players now that I've gotten to assess it kind of from a new player point of view. The crystal credits, or the Nightwave credits in general, and like the slots and stuff that you get in here, and like even like the Forma bundles, like they really help a lot in terms of just getting you where you want to go. And it's really nice that this system is here. Hopefully it's a little better about things in the future. Obviously we know that they're going to be changing some things about the Nightwave, but we don't really have details on what that stuff is yet. And also, like, just knowing how the Zorus is in relation to things and all this stuff, it's a good chunk of information to get about what is super possible for people to do, and like what people can be helped with and stuff, because the list of things you can't do fast as a new player is pretty short, given some workarounds that hopefully don't get fixed. But yeah, it was a really good time. It's just really sad to lose it to a bug. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. I know it's a little unsatisfying for us to not be able to get there just because of a bug, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it's gone overall. Hopefully things continue to get better, and hopefully this bug gets fixed, and hopefully it didn't stop anyone who actually really wanted to finish this Nightwave from completing their Nightwave, and just who hasn't played in 9 months and then wasn't able to do the thing that they really should have been able to do. Hopefully I'm the only person that this happened to on kind of just like a testing account to see what happens. But yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out. Warframe tier list very soon. Bye, everybody.